All right, everybody, welcome back to First Mint Fest. This is Max Minsker, and I am excited to be here with TK from nWayPlay. They are doing some insane things, some really, really exciting stuff over there, and we are going to talk all about it. So kind of how it's going to roll is he is going to give the presentation, and then we're going to do a few questions at the end. So I'm going to kick it over to him so he can present the deck, and then we'll circle back for questions later. So without further ado, TK, go ahead.
Thank you, Max. Super excited to be here. Yeah, I have a quick presentation for you guys to introduce you to our whole world of Olympic Pin NFTs. Just to give you a quick background on myself. So my name is TK. I'm the co-founder and CEO of nWay. So I've been in the game industry for over 15 years, starting at Samsung, where I was in charge of their game phone platform, going out the world, trying to get content. So I fell in love with the whole game industry and joined a studio called Real Time Worlds in UK, famous for their game Crackdown, which came out, I think, 1, 2, and 3. And then also APB and My World. And then I came out of Real Time Worlds to start my own studio called Nurian Software, which was responsible for various virtual worlds and a game called M-Star, which was a music dance game. Also started Pixelberry, which was also acquired, and started nWay. So I've been in the game industry for a while. To introduce you to nWay a little bit, so these are the games that we've developed in the past, and we are mainly focused on action games, fighting games. So basically competitive multiplayer games. So Chronoblade was an action RPG, which had the first PvP component, live PvP, where you're competing with other players in real time across multiple devices, such as the browser, smart TV, and mobile, in a game called Power Rangers Legacy Wars. That was the first fighting game on mobile where you're always playing against a live opponent. And then we had Power Rangers Battle for the Grids, which was our foray into console PC. It's the first fighting game to have crossplay across all the gaming consoles, so including Xbox, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, even Steam and Google Stadia. So regardless of what device you're using, you're able to matchmake with somebody else using a different device and compete. So you have one large matchmaking pool, which really helps. And then two of our new games include WWE Undefeated, which is a wrestling PvP game on mobile. So it's the first WWE game where you're always competing with a live opponent. And Battlepalooza, which was the first game to utilize the Google Maps platform to create a battle royale game where you're competing with other 25 players and you can win various prizes. So we're very focused on competitive multiplayer games. And one thing that we've been experimenting early on is this in-game pricing. So like in-game competitions, in-game basically esports for the masses. Anybody can kind of participate in these in-game events and win real-world prizes. So like you see, this is something that we did many years ago, where you can participate in our Power Rangers Legacy Wars game and potentially win a prize like the Fire TV. We did things like Xbox and Kindle and etc. But there's some issues or friction with doing physical pricing, because you have to actually ship them, and users outside the US are not able to get them, etc. So we were thinking about how can we make this more frictionless, and that's how we kind of got into the world of NFTs, where we felt that because NFTs are digital, it can be given out to anybody in the world instantly, and also they're worth real world value, similar to physical prizes. So we decided to think about potentially creating our own marketplace where players can potentially buy these NFTs in boxes or packs, or play the games that are connected to the marketplace, and win them for free as well. And then we met with the IOC because they were kind of coming out of their exclusive relationship with Sega and Nintendo with the Mario and Sega at the Olympics franchise, and they were looking for new partners for their gaming division, and we kind of gave them our whole pitch against creating these real-time competitive multiplayer games and having Olympic pins as NFTs for people to collect and win them in playing the games. And they loved the idea, and that's how we kind of got into the partnership. And that was a great fit because there was already, from 100 years ago, there's been this big tradition in Olympic pin trading that had already existed in the physical world. People actually attended, they visited and attended Olympics events mainly to trade pins with other people who flew in from all over the world. So this was already a vibrant community. And we wanted to bring this online and make it digital and have it much easier for anybody to be able to trade. And it was even more meaningful for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics because, yeah, like you guys all know, very difficult to travel during COVID. And if you're not an athlete, you're actually not allowed to go. So this allowed us to open it up for these people to be able to trade Olympic pins without even being able to visit the Olympics. And that's how we got into it. And we felt that was a really good fit. So I'd love to show you guys a quick trailer. Kind of showcases our project. To tell you a little bit more about this project, so we actually have a license from the IOC, what's called the Heritage Collection, as well as Tokyo 2020, Beijing 22, and Paris 2024. So to tell you about the Heritage Collection, it's basically the art and design of the Olympic Games from the very first original modern Olympics back in 1896 in Athens, all the way to Rio 2016. So those are called the Heritage Collection. The IOC have made it really clean and nice for licensors to be able to utilize them for modern products. In addition to that, as you guys have probably seen on our website, we have Tokyo 2020 pins that's dropping right now. And we have Beijing 22 Winter Olympics coming up, and we'll be including that to our collection. And lastly, the Paris 2024 Summer Games will be added as well. So this is a massive amount of artwork and pictograms, posters, emblems, mascots that kind of span modern history. And when you look through the collection, you can kind of see the evolution of human culture, and it's super interesting to kind of see how they reflect all the history that we've gone through. So it's just a massive amount of content that we have access to create these NFT pins. So just these are some examples that we have access of the asset set that we'll be using to create the pins. So pictograms, they were first started in 1964 Tokyo Olympics to showcase each of the events. And they're very iconic, and they have a different style for each of the Olympics. So we'll be utilizing these for our pins. And of course, the emblems, they're very iconic to that specific Olympic for that country at that point in time in history. And as you can see here, you probably recognize a lot of these from the past Olympics. But yeah, these are beautiful, and we have access to these as well to create the Olympic NFT pins. And then these are some examples of mascots. It first started, I think, in 1972 with Waldy. And since then, every Olympic, there is a mascot that really symbolizes that specific event. So we have mascot. These are some also examples of posters. You can see all the way from Athens 1896, Paris 1900s, so on and so forth, all the way to Rio 2016. And we'll be using the posters mainly for epic or legendary pins. So that brings me to also kind of how we differentiate the pins. So there are 4 tiers, starting with common, rare, epic, and legendary. So how they're different is for common NFTs, we have everything in 3D, so it's all rendered beautifully in 3D, utilizing our game development background. There's lighting and everything. It looks beautiful. But as you go up in tier, we add more VFX and animation. And I'm going to be showing you some examples so you guys can get the idea. So a common pin may just be a 3D render. But if you go up to rare, you'll see some glow in the background. And then if you go up to epic and legendary, you'll see more VFX, more animations. You can see maybe potentially like a flag waving, or a character inside a poster, slightly moving, almost similar to like the posters or the pictures that you see in Harry Potter, where you see them hang on the wall, but they actually move a little bit. So we want to take advantage of the fact that these are digital, these are NFTs, these are modern takes on history. So we worked with the IOC to add some flair by adding the animations and the VFX. And secondly, the amount of the scarcity really matters, like the amount of them that we mint. So depending on the edition, a common pin may range from thousands to tens of thousands that are minted, so they're more common. For rare NFTs, you can see all the way from 500 to 2,000 that are minted for each of the NFTs. Epic NFTs, more scarce, 175 to 900 that are minted. And then if you go to legendary, they become even more scarce, where only a few hundred of them may ever be minted. So they become much more rare to get your hands on. So these are how they differentiate depending on the tiers. And as promised, here are some examples of the NFTs and how they would look once you own them. We'll rotate. There's an epic one. This pin actually is a super famous pin. One of the pins that kind of started it all. It was the pin that was worn by the officials in 1924 Paris Olympics. And this kind of started the whole pin trading movement. The pin looked gorgeous, so the athletes and the officials started trading the pins. But it was only for the officials and the athletes to trade them. It wasn't available for the mass market to purchase or anything like that. Here is an example of another epic Lake Placid 1932 poster. This was the first Olympic Winter Games to be held in the United States. And this pin is also very symbolic because the 1932 Lake Placid Olympics was the first time when the pin started to trade with ordinary people, not just the athletes and the officials. So also a very meaningful pin as well. And this is an example of a legendary pin, and you can see the birds in the background kind of flying, and you can see see the animations with the flags in the background and everything. So you can see what I mean by adding more flair to epic and legendary pins. Includes both VFX and animations that make these truly unique and beautiful. And this is the example of a legendary Tokyo 2020 pin. I wanted to show these off for the first time because we have a Tokyo legendary box dropping this Friday. So I wanted to show you what a legendary pin may look like. So you can see some of the animations with the blinking and the movement with the ball. So there's something that we added to make this a little bit more special compared to the other tiers. And these are kind of how the pricing works and the composition of the boxes. So we've had 2 editions so far. So for both of them, common box is $9. It contains 5 pins, 5 common pins. Rare box, we've been selling them at $24 each. For Premier Edition, contained 1 rare pin, 5 common pin. For the Tokyo 22 edition, contains 2 rare pins and 3 common pins. Epic box, $99 each. For Premier Edition, 1 epic pin, 2 rare pins, and 5 common pins. On the box for Tokyo 2022, for Tokyo 2020, epic box contains 1 epic pin, 2 rare pins, and 4 common pins. Legendary box, we're pricing at $230. Contains 1 legendary pin, 1 epic pin, and 3 rare pins. Yeah, and we have a very long relationship with the IOC. So our licensing spans many years. We are planning to do our goal is basically to do 1 edition per month. We may not hit that goal all the time, but that's our goal. We've done 2 editions so far. We started with the Premier Edition, which kind of showcased a lot of the Olympic Games that were the first, like the first game to be hosted twice on a certain city, or first Olympic to be held in the US, first Olympic to have a mascot, etc. So that's our Premier Edition. And our second edition is the Tokyo 22 edition. We kicked it off along with the Tokyo 22 opening ceremonies. It's been very successful so far. We've been selling out every single one of the boxes that we're dropping. And we have a separate tokenomics for each edition, meaning that we decided how many we're going to mint for each of the pins for each edition, and we make them transparent on our website as well. And our also goal is to do 1 to 2 drops per week. So this week we're doing 2 drops, 1 today and one Friday, the Epic box and the Legendary box for Tokyo 22. Previous weeks we've done 1 drop per week, but our goal is to do 1 to 2 drops. So we started in July, and we're going to be continuing to do these drops until sometime after the Paris 2024 Summer Olympics. So right now our goal is to do it all the way up to December 2024. So if you do the math, that's around 42 editions and hundreds of drops. So we're in there for the long haul here. So there will be a ton of variety of pins, and looking forward to see, what goes in the marketplace, and it'll be super fun trading all of them. And then, as I kind of alluded to in the beginning, with our whole relationship with the licensing relationship with the IOC, we have 2 video games in development. One is for the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics. It will be we'll be telling you more about it later, but just kind of a high level review would be, a set of these mini games that you compete on, and the winner gets to win an Olympic NFT pin. And the first one will be a set of winter games with the theme Beijing 2022, and the second game will be a set of summer games, and that will be with the Paris 2024 background. Yeah, so we're trying to enable play to earn, which just makes the game much more engaging because you can actually win things, and makes it much more worth it to spend your time to get better in these games. Invest your time to get better, to improve your skills, because you can actually win things that are of real world value. And we're also designing, brainstorming on how these pins may have in-game utility as well, which we will probably announce later, closer to when the video game will launch. So we're super excited about these 2 games that will be coming up in the future. Yeah, and these NFT pins, which are being unsold on nWayPlay.com, we'll be launching our marketplace feature soon, and it won't just be for Olympics. We will also be adding other IPs as well, and more games. So in addition to the Beijing 22 Winter Olympic video game and the Paris 2024 Summer Olympic Games, we'll be adding different games and various other competitive multiplayer games with different IPs. So yeah, our goal is to have nWayPlay be a giant marketplace for officially licensed IPs that are connected to multiple various other competitive real-time multiplayer games. So that's kind of our vision. And because we were building for collectors and gamers and fans of the IPs, we wanted to make sure that we build the marketplace for mainstream use. All transactions are done in USD, kind of similar to Top Shot. Credit card, you can use credit card, and also USDC payments are accepted to purchase these pins. So no different than going and buying anything online. So super easy, and we want some of these to be low price. So we're using the Flow protocol. Flow blockchain doesn't have a large gas fee, similar to Ethereum-based chains have a large, sometimes up to $50 gas fee, which makes it very difficult to have a low price NFT. And then because we're also using Flow, which is a proof of stake instead of the proof of work model, so there's no mining, and it doesn't consume the insane amount of electricity that the proof of work chains require. So yeah, it's much more green, reduce climate impact, and much better for the climate. So yeah, we we have our Tokyo 22 Epic drop. It was dropped today. It's on sale now. There's only very few remaining, so you guys should check it out. I think it'll be sold out very soon. And then we have the Tokyo 2020 Legendary drop, which I'm personally very excited about. It's our first Legendary box drop. It's going to take place August 6th at 9 a.m. PDT, and available at nWayPlay.com. And that's it for my presentation. And over to Max.
Fantastic. Well, I can see a lot of excitement in the chat for the Olympic drops and everything coming. Just to clarify, right, people can go to that website right there that's listed on the screen, and that's where they can, get boxes and, interact with everything you guys are doing. Is that right?
That's correct. So nWayPlay.com is where you can currently go and purchase these boxes. We're doing pre-sale right now, so you can't trade just yet. Our marketplace function where you can do peer-to-peer trading, or where you can actually sell and buy from other players or other users, that's coming in September. But right now you can go and purchase these boxes at nWayPlay.com.
Fantastic. One thing that I'm seeing in the chat is stay tuned for the end of the presentation for a special giveaway. Is there anything that you can tell us about that?
Yeah, one thing that we're doing to celebrate the Tokyo 22 games is we're doing a lot of giveaways. We have a sweepstakes going on right now with more information on the website. And we've been doing giveaways on Twitter, hashtag Tokyo 2020 NFT. We'll be giving away some boxes to the viewers as well.
That's fantastic. One thing I wanted to ask you that I've been seeing a lot of things about in the chat is, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about what it's been like working with the IOC and how long of a process that's been, because that's a pretty major piece of IP to be working with.
Yeah, working with the IOC has been fantastic. They have a big team for licensing, as you can imagine. They give us access to their vault that included, everything, and it was fantastic to see all this historical artworks and designs. And they were able to provide us with the context behind all of these. They have a huge library of kind of not only just the artwork, but explanations and what happened and how certain pins started to trade, and the whole context behind it. So it's great working with them directly because you can get access to all of that. And they've been very busy because of the Tokyo 22 Olympics going on right now, but and they've been they're in Tokyo right now, and so there's some time zone differences with their team, but they've been very responsive, and they've been working closely with us during the last few weeks while we were doing these drops. So they've been a fantastic partner.
That's fantastic. How long has this project been in the making?
So about a year. So it takes a while to get the licensing done, each of the pins are meticulously created. It's not just like it's photo. Everything's 3D. Everything's done with lighting and rendered. We add animations and VFX. So we wanted to really create NFTs that have a premium feel to it, that really utilize our game development background. It took some time.
That's fantastic. Well, I think people are pretty excited based on what I can see. I think everybody should pay close attention to the chat and go to the site to take a look at those giveaways. It's really exciting. I know that we're coming to the end of our time here. So my last question is, where can people find you and follow everything that you guys are doing?
Yeah, so we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also on Discord. So you can find us at nWayPlay NFT. handle on social media, and you can go to nWayPlay.com to kind of easily get into our Discord. So hope to see you guys all there.
Fantastic. Well, I think they've dropped a link in the chat, so make sure to pay attention for that. And thank you so much for presenting. I think we're just about concluding here. So we'll see you guys in the next session.
Perfect. Thank you so much.